And Monday's agreement between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela to join forces on a major gas supply agreement is being hailed as historic. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley inked the deal with President Nicolas Maduro in Caracas, but the gas deal won't address this country's current gas shortage just yet. Karen Cozier-Phillip, who traveled to Caracas, has more in this report.
Prime Minister Rowley did not give details of the confidential aspects of the government-to-government agreement, but he read excerpts from page 5, Article 2 of the obligation of the parties.
The parties agree to take reasonable steps to facilitate A, the development, construction, operation, and maintenance of one or more pipelines from the Marisal Sucre region in the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, including a pipeline from the Dragon Field to the Hibiscus platform.
He gave a 4-year timeline for production of the gas from the Dragon Fields.
So therefore, what we are looking at for Trinidad and Tobago is not an immediate gas supply to our shortfall situation, but treating with a worsening situation in the near to medium term. So if we are able to have the pipeline works and the platform works and so on done in 24 months, then that would be tremendous improvement.
The main players in the project are the National Gas Company, Shell Trinidad and the PDVSA Oil Company, with the cost of the project yet to be estimated.
So it is Dragon Field gas in Venezuela being processed at Point Lisas or anywhere else in Trinidad and Tobago. In the agreement, if you get a chance to see it at some time in the future, it says in the agreement that all parties will bear their own costs. So we in Trinidad and Tobago, if a pipeline is to be built, and if gas is to be sold, those who are using the gas will pay for the gas. Those who are selling the gas will get paid for the gas. Those who are developing the gas field will pay the cost of the wells. Those who build the pipelines will pay the cost of the pipeline.
The Prime Minister, after the signing, took in the cultural festivities in the courtyard of the Presidential Palace. He said it was all in good fun.
So calypso music in Venezuela is very much like calypso music in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, the costumes did look like Tobago Better Village, didn't it? So I felt quite at home.
So was it a planned thing?
No, actually we didn't even know that they were going to be there. It was the president, in making his speech inside, said if you look outside you'd see our calypso contingent. So it was a lot of fun.
Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela also discussed the possibility of Venezuelan crude oil being refined in Trinidad. The Petrotrin oil refinery has seen a drop in production to about 60,000 barrels per day. Karen Cozier-Phillip, C News.
So what's the backdrop to this massive gas deal? Here's reporter Roger Dwarika with the analysis.
Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela have what's termed a cross-border gas supply deal, the wheels of which have been put in motion with the signing of the agreement that will draw natural gas from the Dragon Field, located 17 kilometers from the North Coast Marine area at Chaguaramas. On Monday, the PM shook hands with President Nicolas Maduro, signaling the further cementing of diplomatic relations between the two countries, and which introduced a new phase in bilateral cooperation that could open the door to more potential energy collaboration.
Behind that Dragon Field, there are 3 other fields, and we could also be sourcing gas from those fields. And it's just a matter of connecting fields together with pipelines. It also opens the door for Venezuela's gas that is inside of the Loran Manatee field to come to Trinidad. The Venezuelans have already agreed that they've already told us, when I was minister, that they want Loran's gas to come to Trinidad for processing, monetization and so on.
The CEO of the Energy Chamber accompanied the delegation to Caracas on Monday, telling CNews Live how the agreement would pan out between the two governments, Shell Trinidad and Venezuela's state oil company PDVSA. It's also known the Paris-based company Technip has been developing part of the Dragon Patao portion of the field with undersea pipelines.
The first step to be taken now is the agreement between PDVSA, who are the operator of the Dragon field, Shell, whose infrastructure will be used to bring the gas to Trinidad, and the National Gas Company, who will have the gas coming into the Trinidad system. So that is the sort of the 3-way deal which now needs to be signed. I think they're very close to completing that, but it's not quite finished yet.
The giant steps forward to take the gas project to reality would involve, amongst other things, a massive infrastructure drive, inclusive of subsea pipe laying, which would take the gas from the Dragon field to the Hibiscus platform to Point Lisas. However, according to Dr. Driver, it's important to note that Venezuela hasn't overlooked its own economic problems in signing this particular deal.
Venezuela has always been wary of exporting its gas resources to other countries. It has done a little bit with Colombia in the past, but it's always been not something it's wanted to do. It's wanted to use its gas itself in the country. So taking a step to sign this deal with Trinidad is a very important historical step. They've indicated before MOUs before that they would do this, but now this is actually a signed agreement. So it is a very important agreement.
So far, the deeper, intricate details of the deal haven't been revealed, but it's known Shell officials have to work with the NGC to do the infrastructural contractual work, which will also involve collaboration closely with PDVSA. Roger Dwarika, C News Live.
Well, thank you very much, Roger. Now, the deal with Venezuela has political angles as well. GMTT spoke with economist and political commentator Indira Sajione, who said TNT needs to be cautiously optimistic about the deal with Venezuela.
I stress it because we are entering into an agreement of sorts with a regime that does not have a reputation for dealing in a kind of way that governments that are very stable and do. And anything can happen when you are when you are dealing with a government of this type. This is a type of government that can change its mind on a whim or a fancy.
Well, Mrs. Sajione also said this deal with Venezuela means Trinidad and Tobago now has a hefty financial commitment. What she finds worrying is the implications if all does not go as planned.
What happens if midway during that process, the government of Venezuela changes its mind? So that is one thing that I am cautious about, and I'm putting it on the table. The second thing I'm cautious about is the sense of complacency that this particular deal can cause in Trinidad and Tobago. We tend to, in this country, have this notion that all our hopes and aspirations should rest on the oil and gas sector.